Steve Goodey. That'll be amazing for Wellington Life's numbers.
Everybody wants to see that.
Full video here.
How do I get a house? And also, what are like the steps to get a house?
So what's your ideal sort of investment property? Folks, welcome back to Hotline. You're here with Sean Rush, Sarah Jane Seddon. We're interviewing hot Wellington Tonians in the hot seat today with, he's going to get a hot hat,
Yes.
is property investor
There you
Already a
go.
hat guy, but you're right.
Steve Goodey. Steve, welcome to the show. Tell us a bit, you've got not just one or two properties, you've got a bit, so do you want to tell us a bit about your portfolio? Maybe talk about the property values. Was hearing that they're going down. And what about rates? How's that affecting you?
Oh God, where to start? Yeah, no, I've got a few properties around Wellington. I've been an investor for 20, 30 years around here, grew up here, lived here for 50 out of the last 51 years.
What school?
Capity College.
Capity College.
Represent.
Okay.
Yeah, property values peaked a couple of years ago. They shat themselves 28%. And
Technical term, folks, that.
there'll be some notes later. And they're just starting to warm back up again, and official cash rate reduction this week. So cash got a bit cheaper, so yeah.
Okay, so you in the commercial space, residential?
Totally
bit of a balance?
residential. I like the
Totally?
liquidity of it. I like the fact that everybody needs to live somewhere.
Beautiful. And presumably there's still a lack of rental space. That's what I hear.
I don't know. I mean, rents have started to come down in
Yeah.
Wellington, which is unusual. I think that we've developed quite a bit out the hut. We've got a lot of townhouses now, and we're kind of at a good space.
When I was a city councillor, we had particularly student representative groups and Renters United would come and tell us about how terrible the state of the housing stock was. And I experienced a bit of that when I was a much younger man. What do you say? Do you have a portfolio that you actively manage and insulate? And
Yeah, I think everybody does these days. It's a minimum requirement.
Yeah.
If you don't have clean, dry places, then,
you're not going to rent it out?
Yeah, then the market shit,
Yeah. And so what's easier in terms of dealing with councils, Wellington or Lower Hutt City?
Oh, they're both a bit interesting, to be fair.
Okay, I like it.
It's sometimes a battle between property investors, developers and council. They make the rules and we live with them.
Sarah Jane.
Well, I've got a few questions from the audience.
Go
Well,
ahead.
how do I get a house? And also, what are like the steps to get a house?
Oh, great question. First thing, join KiwiSaver. Within 2 years of KiwiSaver, you can pull it out to buy your first home, and that's usually the easiest way to do compulsory savings. And work hard to save some money, and realise that saving that first deposit for your first home is the absolute hardest part of buying any houses for the rest of your life. That is the hardest part. After that, it just gets a lot easier.
I was roundly criticised by some quarters when I was a city councillor. I said that for young people, the road to ownership of a house in Mount Vic is hard. It needs careful management, saving, and usually a life partner with you. And I stand by those words, but some people didn't want to hear that. How long do you think you need to save before you get that first deposit?
I think property's a ladder, and I think you have to touch the bottom run before you get to the top
Yeah.
run. I think a house in Mount Vic is aspirational. It took me 50 years to get there.
Yeah.
I started with, a technical term, a shitbox in 9i, which needed a lot of work, and we did it up and added value to it, and stepped from there to there to there to the next.
Did you commute all the way from 9i to work in town?
No, it was tougher than that. I actually had to work in Lower Hutt.
Oh, it's a lovely place. We all love our little centres.
Lived there for a very, very long time. I preferred Petone to 9i, but you do you.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Whereabouts is your favourite beach in Wellington?
Ooh, I kind of like that little Lena Bay area.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's
That's
really
pretty
warm
neat.
water in summer. It's a little catchment there. Don't tell everybody though, okay?
I think it's going out to everybody, so...
Okay.
So what's your ideal sort of investment property?
I like to invest in whatever my portfolio needs at the time. If it needs an equity deal, I try and buy something at a big discount that's going to grow in value. So then you're talking Queenstown, Auckland, sometimes Wellington. Otherwise, it's pure cash flow. You're looking for something that's actually going to wash its own back so you can move on to the next deal after that.
I was recently interviewed by the press about the rates rises.
Yeah.
And how family places out in Strathmore got hit hardest last time. Rosanie's got away with it. Now it's turned around. How do the rates rises affect someone like you? do you just push it all onto your renters?
Well, you can't really, because landlords don't decide how much rent to charge. The market decides.
Yeah.
And if you pitch it too high, you get vacancies. But what we've got is like a booming property market that's gone up like 60, 70% in 5 years, and then that's when they reviewed the rates, and then we've got a 20% increase on top of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. I'm personally paying about $3,000 a week in rates across my portfolio. It's horrific. Yeah,
Wow.
it's huge.
I mean, we like to plan using sustainable city principles, but I don't think rates rises like that is sustainable.
Sometimes we want things in a city that we can't afford. Town halls. What? Yeah, let's not start there. Yeah,
okay.
It's expensive.
Okay, another switching it up.
Switching it up.
question.
Here we go,
That's
yeah.
on like another hotline question. Whereabouts is your favourite restaurant to go to?
God, don't even start with that. Shepherd,
Ooh.
Concord,
Ooh,
Field
got a
and
whole
Green,
list.
all the ones that are closed, basically.
Ah.
Yeah, really disappointingly, all the ones that have,
Okay.
Monsoon Poon is open. They're doing great.
Monsoon.
Burgers.
Valley burgers.
Yeah,
Poon should
get
be
in
there
my
forever.
belly.
I mean, come on, like, I've watched a lot of your back reels of all of your politicians and elected officials coming on saying Wellington's not dying, and I'm sorry, it is. We need to realise that this place needs some infrastructure, some investment, and we've wasted it for 40 years. We haven't put the money in. It's distressing.
Quick question from the cameraman. Would you ever run for council or mayor?
I considered it. We had somebody go to the Parliament from the Green Party recently, and I thought that me and flagrant capitalists involved in there could be an interesting mix.
What would you do? I mean, if you could get in charge of Wellington and you had a checkbook, and what would you do?
That's the thing. I looked at it and went, I don't think it can be fixed in a generation. So I just went, well, I'm just going to roll with it again, because
Yeah.
I don't think it can be fixed.
No, answer the question, please.
Oh, I think I did.
If you
I
had
think
the
I did.
money, what would you do?
I would do things that I don't think can be fixed. I don't think there's a generation where the slightly overly woke public of Wellington is prepared to pay for the things that it needs.
Interesting.
Place
Yeah.
is leaking like a sieve.
So, I mean, from my perspective, I suppose I decided not to stand again because I felt my skills of actually being
Did you get beat up or what?
top,
Was that it?
top flight lawyer in infrastructure are better off actually doing infrastructure projects
Fair.
and bringing gas to Taranaki, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So I totally sympathise with you, but it is a bit concerning to hear that's your attitude. We do have this kaupapa on this show that, you know, Wellington isn't dying, we're cup half full, you know, and we recognise there are problems, but, you know, it's good to be a realist sometimes.
Well, every
as
time you see something like Whistling Sisters, massive setup, and it's all been ripped out to be released.
Yeah.
Well,
Seriously.
switching it up again, whereabouts is your shirt from?
I got this in Banana Republic in New York 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Correct, yes.
Nice.
Spreading
I know,
news.
bit of a flex. What do you do?
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Hey, well, so thanks very much for coming on. Thanks for giving us a bit of,
Thanks for having me.
a bit of cold hard advice there, folks. I still think this city's great. I still think that the people are great. We just need to switch up a few things and wear some better shirts from New York.
Absolutely.
So, but thanks very much for coming on Hotline. That was Sean, Sarah, and Steve on Hotline. Hot people with the hot picks and the hot hats. And have a great evening.